What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Falco, and this is the TalonCast podcast. I know it sounds redundant, but I say that because people may not know what the TalonCast is. It is a podcast where we talk about everything to do with asset creation. We try to steer away from drama, but I feel like today's episode is going to have to do with some of it that's surrounding my name. I feel like I have to rectify it and tell the whole picture, because I don't feel like it was told. But we're gonna talk about that later. But if you guys don't know, this is this is the talent cast. This is episode 7. I said on episode 10 we're gonna try and get a special guest to be on the talent cast at some point. If you guys don't remember the previous episode, I do want to try and get a special guest like once a month. That would be cool. Who knows, maybe more. Depends, depends on how you guys like it. As well as, don't forget, comment down below questions that you guys think we should address in the next TalonCast podcast, in the next episode of the TalonCast. Okay. Yeah, that would be great if you guys did that. And if you guys like these videos, you guys want to see more, make sure you guys like, comment down below, and subscribe and all that jazz. I really have fun making this podcast for you guys, because I'm able to talk about all the stuff I like and dislike about the game and how the game is managed, or the alpha is managed. And I feel like it's good feedback, because I'm usually pretty I would say, maybe some people may not think so, but I feel like I'm pretty fair in my criticisms, and I try to give ways to fix the game. I'm constructive with it. So let me know if you guys think that. If you don't, let me know. Like I said, if you hate me, you hate me. If you love me, you love me. But it is the way it is. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about a lot of things today. I'm not going to say where. Actually, I might put timestamps in this one. If people really want timestamps so badly, comment down below, and I will put timestamps in the podcast to let you guys know where we're talking about stuff, so you guys can zip, zap, zoop around to what part of the podcast that you guys want to hear my takes on. Or yeah, okay. So comment down below. Like I said, comment down questions you guys want to talk about as well, because that helps a lot. Comment questions down below. Subscribe, hit the bell notification. But we have a few questions. You already know I always have my handy dandy notebook of questions that I like to talk about every episode. Like I said, it's episode 7. So let's get this. By the way, if you guys are wondering what this what's called footage is in the background, it's me on my manatee or my shoal skipper. I'm underwater at the tropics, and there's tons of material under the tropics, at least where I was, as you guys can see in my inventory. I'm mining tons of metals and gems in the tropics underwater, next to like the little coral reef areas, which is crazy. Not a lot of people have shoal skippers because they're expensive, but I thought this was cool, footage, because not a lot of people know how it looks underwater. It's really hard to like view stuff underwater at nighttime, but this is during the daytime in the tropics. As you guys can see, I look up at the sun. But yeah, let that be known. So I hope you guys enjoy this footage, even though it's not really combat oriented. Let me know if you guys like this, if you guys just like me exploring different areas for footage in the background. But let's go into this. Let's get into this. I'm not gonna answer that question. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. Pickpocketing. This is a hot take. And I know this is probably not gonna be put in the game, because I know they've probably talked about it. They've talked about how they don't want pickpocketing for rogues in the game because it's hard to balance. But wouldn't it be like cool if you got like pickpocket? This is just like a little tangent. I'm gonna call it. I'm not gonna name this. This is probably all encompassing within the podcast. But wouldn't it be cool for pickpocketing for rogues if you could like sleep dart someone? Like maybe if they're incapacitated, you have a chance to like pickpocket them. But it's funny, a friend of mine, he said that maybe you only can pickpocket people and it's only in their Sanctus bag, but I know how that can be kind of overruled, because you don't have to wear a Sanctus bag. So that'd be interesting how that would come out. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. Do you think that pickpocketing for rogues should be put in the game? Comment down below. I'm kind of indifferent because I don't even use a rogue personally. I know you could pickpocket in like RuneScape, but it's usually NPCs. I agree that pickpocketing of like actual players would be kind of hard to balance. And who knows, it could be dead content, and I'm all for like not putting in stuff just because that people want it, and understanding that if it's gonna be dead content, don't even develop it, because that's just wasting developers' time, in my opinion. So that's my take on pickpocketing of people, not NPCs. If they put pickpocketing of NPCs in the game for rogues, I wouldn't be opposed to it, because that's easy to balance. All right, probably it's easier to balance. pickpocketing monsters and NPCs and stuff like that. I think that would be a cool thing. Like if you sleep dart, that would give like people a reason to use like sleep dart. Maybe they can go down like a path of, instead of like killing mobs for money, they can go down the path of like pickpocketing mobs or something like that. I think that could make, as long as they make it feel like it's viable, that's what I want. I don't want them to put stuff in the game that's just for like wow factor and be like, oh, we could do this in there, but it's not really useful. It has to be viable. It has to be like people have to feel like it's necessary in the game. I just don't want them to put it in there just because people are like, oh, our game has this, you know. I'm not a big fan of fluff in video games. Like everything has to have its place, I feel like. And that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think about pickpocketing. I guess that kind of could be a segment, but yeah. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think about pickpocketing. As well as comment down below. Damn, I'm running out of fucking shit. Comment down below ice cream cone if you made it this far. Not that far. It's like 6 minutes in. If you didn't make it this far, I shouldn't even be doing this podcast. If you didn't make it this far, I'm fucking up. This question, I have had this question for a few weeks, so this one might be a little dated. I'm gonna put it up. I'm gonna talk about it. A few weeks ago when we were having like really bad latency issues, I haven't been to Carphin since I wrote this question, which was about like 2 weeks ago. But Carphin was having really bad latency issues where mobs were like very, very just not responsive, and they were like, it was just bad. It was the responsitivity at Carphin was just bad, and I had people just leaving parties. It was bad. It was bad. I was so disappointed because I had recruited this whole freaking Carphin gear farm team, and people are like, guys, the mobs just aren't like, they're not responding properly. Like people are able to run past mobs, you're not sure if it's actually going to attack you or not. Like it was just bad. Let me know down below if since the past 2 weeks if that's been fixed, but that was a big problem the last like 2 weeks ago. Since then I've only been doing the Befallen Forge and Steel Bloom, but comment down below. Maybe a dev watches this and they were like, they probably already know that the places that they're having really bad traffic because they can see it on their end. Well, comment down below any other places that you've been having really bad latency and really bad performance issues, because I've had times where I've walked between like, was it Winstead and Jova? No, Winstead and Halcyon, actually, on that area where you have all of the Steel Bloom mobs on that trail, and I've just like my freaking game has just crashed, just exited out, like I alt F4'd that shit, and I've lost materials for it. That happened like a day ago. That's still a problem. And it's funny because I didn't have any like what would you call it, memory leaks or memory usage issues. Like my game was playing perfectly fine, and then pew, and I run a good like computer. I'm running a 4080. I'm running the freaking what's called Ryzen 9. Freaking what's called 4900 X 3DS or 3DX or something like that. I'm running a good computer. So let that be known. It's not like a low tier computer. As well, this is a problem. If you guys see on the screen, this is a problem right here underwater. It makes it so difficult mining rocks underwater when you're next to current. That was such a big problem for me when I was mining rocks, especially in a place where the current is moving extremely fast, because sometimes when the current is pushing you, if there's something behind you like a rock or something that may clip you while you're moving backwards, it will stop the animation for you mining, and it makes for like really annoying mining. And as you guys see right here, I tried to interact with like some dead coral underwater, and it gave me like it was like, you can't do that because you're in the middle of an action. And I'm like, that's a bug too. There was a lot of bugs. It's very unfun and very annoying to mine rocks underwater. I'm not even sure if it's like if it's you're supposed to be able to mine rocks underwater. I don't know that. I would love if a dev would let me know. Is mining of rocks supposed to be even be underwater? Maybe like harvesting or herbalism or stuff like that. But like, am I supposed to be able to mine shit underwater or not? Like, I'm assuming you are, because it wouldn't be there. But like, there's certain rocks that I couldn't mine strictly because the current was pushing me into a rock. Like you might see it here, right here, if I'm not mistaken. You see, it made me stop because I was interrupted by a rock. So I was like, fuck it, I can't even mine it. yeah, there's certain things like that I was having a problem with mining and like receiving materials. That was one of my biggest problems because I was trying my best, and I do mean my best this week to get 10. Obviously, like I said, I play alone. I know that this is not meant leveling your artisan stuff, or especially crafting stuff, is not meant to be done solo. It's supposed to take a village or a group of people feeding you materials to get your shit to a specific level. But I will say that it is pretty freaking difficult to get like materials. Um, and I will say this on the flip side, a way that I feel like they can like change that is I saw tons of basalt and granite and stuff, but no one feels the need, in my opinion. This is my opinion. Who knows? Maybe other people have opinions on it. Let me know. Let me know how you feel. Comment down below if you don't agree, if you agree or you don't agree. But me personally, I feel like no one minds basalt and granite and like sandstone because for one, it doesn't the chances of you getting like rubies, emeralds, and just other gems or copper or tin or any materials that aren't those rocks are so low that it just doesn't feel good to mine those. It feels like a waste of time. And people don't like when their time is wasted. I'm not saying that every time you mine a basalt rock you should get it. But I feel like 1 out of 5 you probably should get it. Maybe, I mean, I would test it, but like at this point in time, the way that it's scaled for the chances of you to get like minerals, like metals and gems and stuff, is bad. I think that coal could be maybe scaled up a tiny bit. I feel like it's pretty good because coal is actually like a thing that's necessary. It's a byproduct, or not byproduct, but it's like a product that you need to make turn iron into steel. But like the other materials that are necessary and integral to all parts of the game definitely need to be switched, and I hope that that is switched within their econ update. Hope they make it a little more like, because that's also a problem, because other stuff doesn't want to spawn in that place because no one wants to mine like granite and sandstone and basalt and all that. No one wants to mine it because no one feels like, they don't feel like dropping it or wasting durability. So let that be a thing. I wanted to talk about that. Oh, here's another thing that I wanted to speak on, and maybe a lot of you guys may have your own takes on this. I feel like everyone has their own identity that they would like to be put onto their specific race, because as you know, as of now, they say that they want to put race specializations, like races specialize in certain things and they have their own like quirks that attribute to how their playstyle on their character is. In that sense, I would love, like, for the Renkai, since the Renkai is like the tall, buff, brutish, like orcs of the game. I would love if there was a way for like in the future, like as of now, we can't dual wield, like anything other than like daggers. Imagine if you play as a Renkai, you can dual wield two-handed swords. Wouldn't that be crazy? I know that would need some real balancing, but like I think that would be so cool for like the fantasy of like, oh, like these orcs, they're like brutish, like they're strong as fuck. They're a lot more like you know, they're not stout like some dwarves. Like I think that would be so cool if Renkai had like a thing where, oh, if you play as a Renkai, you have you're able to dual wield like two-handed swords, or maybe if you play as like a Veiloon, you have like a higher crit chance for like daggers or something like that, or for archery, or no, maybe if you play as like a elf, you have like a higher affinity for archery type skills and stuff like that. um I like that. I mean, let me know any other type of race specializations. Maybe if for a dwarf you have like a higher proficiency for making like higher like rarity like weapons or armor and stuff like that because like they're dwarves or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I would love if they also gave multiple different types of race specializations. Like maybe I can choose between 3 different types of race specializations for my like specific like character. You know, you know what I mean? I don't know. I love customization. I think they could really like add on to that, kind of like like Baldur's Gate or something like that. I'm a real proprietor of like making your character like yours truly, you know. And I mean, I love titles. I mean, I play Mabinogi, and I love games that let you showcase like your accomplishments through titles and capes and shit like that. So I don't know, something in that lane. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know if there's any like cool specializations you think they could add to races in the game. Let me know that. Comment down below what you feel would match the energy of specific, maybe the pyrite. Like, oh well, I think pyrite would be great for like archery, or for like, maybe if you want to go towards like the artisan route, maybe they're really good at growing plants, maybe they have like a affinity for farming, maybe they have a higher yield chance for like really good fruits or something like that, you know, like certain cool things like that. I like that. I like that. I think that's fun. That is inviting, you know. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me. But going on, and they could tie that into lore. That would be cool. I think they could find a way to tie like race specializations into lore. But I feel like if you made it this far, you probably are like, Falco, get to the meat and potatoes. You know what we're here for. You know what you want to talk about. You know what we want to hear you talk about, which is the whole I'm not gonna call it a story because it wasn't a story, because I feel like when you say something's a story, that it could be a lie. My situation that happened in my Discord was not a lie. Did the person maybe lie about on his end? Possibly. I don't know. There's no way for me to prove or disprove it. And that's probably why he said it, because there's no way for me to prove or disprove it. But I'm gonna tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and the whole reason that situation even came to be, because we're gonna talk about, if you guys don't know, there was a whole debacle that happened on Reddit, and I mean was addressed on the live stream for this month, about me telling a situation about how a polar officer and Enveus leader, which his name was DA, I'm gonna say the name, that's the nigga who was there. They came into my Discord, which it's a dissolved Discord that's not around anymore, which is the GTG one. If you guys remember, we had the GTG Discord with Rebirth Radio. If you guys know, if you know, you know. They came into that Discord. I'm gonna go into the backstory of this, because this is just the ending of it. And they basically said that they were not they, but the polar leader said he was friends with Steven, and that they wouldn't be banned because they play games with Steven. Whether it was D&D, they just said they were friends with him, and they gamed with him, and that they weren't gonna be banned. DA was there. He heard the dude say it. Whether he will agree that he did hear that, who knows? I don't really care if he agrees or not. But the dude did say it. Do I remember the dude's name? No, I don't. But the situation definitely happened. It happened. And then people spun it out of control. It's funny because I had already talked about this on Rebirth Radio like months and months ago, if people remember. But obviously Rebirth Radio was not as big as the Copium Clinic. We didn't have a lot of eyes on us, so people didn't. It probably been spun out of control back then. But that happened back in part 1 or phase 1 of Alpha 2. But yeah, that got spun out of control. Steven went and rectified it on what's called on not Twitter, on Reddit, and then he went to mention my name and talk about how I mentioned that story and how that was. I don't think he thinks that my story was false. I do think he said that the person lied. So yeah, like I said, my situation was not a lie. Why would I do that? I don't even talk about drama. And by the way, like I said, this is the only time I'm going to address this, because I don't like talking about drama, because all the content I put out on this game is literally trying to make it better, and also testing and playing the alpha. Like, if you guys know, you guys tune into this shit, I don't deal with drama. All I do is play the fucking game. And I now stream. If you guys don't know, I stream on twitch.tv/FalcoIsGaming. Plug. But I'm gonna address a lot of stuff, because some people may think that, oh, this man did this for clout. Why the fuck would I do this for clout? Like, wouldn't I have done this a long time ago? If I was doing it for clout and also for recognition? I'm definitely not doing it for recognition. This is not good. This is not good recognition, because this could paint me in a bad light with Intrepid, if they don't already dislike me. So it definitely doesn't help me. But like I said, I'm not gonna just ignore the story or ignore the situation. I brought the situation up during the Copium Clinic, what's called podcast, the Copium Clinic, the Bespoke podcast, because it pertained to the question that Copium Clinic asked me. So I brought up the situation, and I also brought up another situation in RuneScape for Rot, which is another big guild that was kind of corrupt, which that's a whole nother can of worms I'm not going to get into. But going back, the way that this started and the reason why they came into my Discord, was because at the time me and Yami were playing phase 1 of Alpha 2, and DA and Enveus and Yokai, I'm mentioning names, I'm mentioning them. They were caught bug abusing by standing on tendrils. That was about at the time, if you guys remember, if you guys played phase 1, where the AI was so bad and the freaking movement was so bad that you were able to stand on stuff and just do damage to it and have your tank not take damage, and basically it wouldn't move, it wouldn't retreat, so it wouldn't regain any HP. And they basically did that from like an extremely low level to max level, and they geared out extremely quickly and did it in a way that wasn't legitimate, in my opinion. And me and Jimmy weren't happy with it because, and it wasn't just me and Jimmy, is Yami, by the way. Me and Yami weren't happy about it. So we made videos on it and we talked about it. And at the time, Yami had been gaining a lot more traction on his channel, so he was gaining a lot more views and a lot more eyes. And whether they were good eyes or bad eyes, a lot of the people from, or a few people from what's called Polar and Enveus, had saw the videos. And at that time, they were on their high horse. You know, they were on their fucking high horse. They were like, stop putting these videos out because nothing's gonna happen. And that's how that whole freaking situation happened, where they joined the Discord, because obviously we promote our Discord and we promote that one in our videos. That's how that all came to fruition. That's the backstory. Whether you guys care or not, I just wanted to let that be known. But like I said, I did not mention this story for someone said, what was it? What they say? They said, sorry, I have it up here actually. I did not mention this story for recognition or popularity. I mean, I could give a rat's ass about popularity and about recognition, especially for something that could paint, like I said, paint me in a bad light with any developers or any people at Intrepid. Like I said, I just want to talk about the game in a way that's actionable and speak my truth. And that was my truth, regardless of if it rubbed people the wrong way. It fucking happened. You know, it fucking happened. I know a lot of you guys believe me, because I mean, it sounds plausible, and that's just the way it is. Like when stuff, oh, by the way, I almost forgot to mention, when we were putting out those videos, actually, we kept saying that they should be like reprimanded, banned, etc. And there was a time, if you guys remember, after that, after people were like being pissy at Intrepid for not banning people, they finally put out a thing after they came back from like vacation and shit, and they said, all right, we banned people. They didn't say who they banned. And we thought, oh, they probably banned Yokai and freaking, what's it called, DA and all them. And they didn't, because we had saw them. They weren't de-leveled. And obviously this is hearsay, because I don't have any visual proof. And I mean, it was freaking about 6 months ago. Like I said, it's over. I don't care at this point. Like, fuck it. But I'm just telling you how it went down. They were not banned. They were still max level. And they were still in the game, and they still had their names. They didn't have their gear on, but they could have traded it off, or they could have just banked it, or whatever the fuck they did. I mean, just because they didn't have their gear on, the point is their levels were not reset, which at least their levels should have been reset. And we've seen people get their levels reset because we have visual proof of it. If you want to go check out Yami's video on this channel, it shows Steven literally resetting a dude training us in Carphin. Steven did that shit in the blink of a switch, so it could have been done. And that's why, and a lot of people also saw that as well, because they were watching our videos, and it was popular at the time. To watch, you know, Yami and Falco's videos. So that happened, and that's why people kind of felt shaky, and they felt, oh, it's plausible that's possible, because they were not reprimanded in the way that people felt was necessary. Well, regardless of if they were, or regardless of if Intrepid didn't expect or didn't see what they did as being a reason to like ban them from the phase or not, it's not my point. That's not my part, you know. I mean, that's not what for me to speak on. That's just for me to say how I feel they should have done it. The way that they deal with it, it's not my problem. I don't work for Intrepid. But that happened. So all I want to say is, I'm not here to say that they're doing anything like bad, you know. I'm just here to tell them the situation that happened. If it happens to have done that, I apologize. But that's not going to stop me from speaking on situations like that. If someone says some weirdo shit, I'm going to let you guys know. And so if someone wants to reach out to me and say that that person's lying, we can rectify it. But like, that's not going to stop me from speaking on situations where people say weird shit. Because I feel like that would be disingenuous to you guys, and I feel like the people who watch these podcasts, will they resonate with that. I feel like that's probably why a lot of you guys resonate with this, because you know, if you come here, you're going to hear me speak on some facts and speak on some good points on how to improve the game, or improve the integrity, or improve how Intrepid interacts with people. So, and that's probably the biggest gripe that people have right now, with Intrepid, is how they interact with the community, and how they pride themselves on how outspoken and how much they like talk and show with the community, when people don't feel they have the credence, or some people don't. I'm not saying everyone does. I'm not that. I feel like I'm speaking for everyone. Some people don't feel like it's warranted for them to toot their own horn about how well they communicate with people, because sometimes they can be kind of shaky. I'm neither here nor there at this point. Like, I mean, I feel like at this point, does it really matter? Like, and also same thing with the situation with, if let's say hypothetically, and all hypotheticals, I'm not playing devil's advocate right now. Let's say hypothetically Steven is friends with freaking people from a guild that's kind of shaky. Doesn't really matter. Like, if it's in our best interest to believe this man, that he's not lying, and that he doesn't have any like connections to them, because I mean, we want the game to succeed. And if, let's say hypothetically, he did have connections with them, the game would not succeed, because I mean, that's a whole other can of worms. But the integrity of the game would already be fucked, in my opinion. So let's just believe that Steven is doing right by his own game that he spent millions of fucking dollars on. You feel me? Like, are we to even tell this man how to freaking run his game that he spent his fucking fortune or in his life? Like, not like we talk about money, but like, there's one thing that's immaterial that we can't get back, and that's time. And I will say this: we can't knock this nigga Steven for the time he spent on this game. He spent a lot of time, years that he will never get back on a game that he hopes succeeds, but there's no proof, or there, we don't know if it will. So I have no, I believe the man when he says that the dude lied. I did not lie about the situation, though. I'm just putting that out there. The situation happened. The dude probably lied. But I wanted to talk about that because I felt there's most, I would say most people believe me. But for the people who don't, they're probably not going to still, because they just want to fucking point the finger and be mad at someone. But it is what it is. But for all the people who rock with me and still enjoy the content, thank you so much. And if you sat through me freaking ramble about that situation, and maybe you followed it, maybe you didn't, maybe you didn't even get this far in the video. We are like 28 minutes in. If you made it this fucking far through my ramble, type down below Xbox controller or some shit. Xbox, type down Xbox. But like I said, I want this game to succeed more than anything. I wouldn't make content for this game if I didn't want it to succeed. I wouldn't, especially as consistently as I do. I wouldn't give so many different takes on how I feel about it, and try so much things on it, and I tell everyone that I come in contact with, regardless of how shitty of a day and how laggy it's been, and how, what's it called, like how annoyed I am with something that's going on in the game, or how the devs, or not the devs, but like how Intrepid, like the people who talk with the community or stuff, or don't talk with the community, do stuff. I still tell people to give this game a good shot. I'd still tell them to. And anyone who comes to my streams on twitch.tv/Falcos or twitch.tv/Falcos Gaming will know that I always tell people to try the game. So if anyone's like, this dude wants to destroy this, he wants to destroy everything we build, no, I don't. But I'm not gonna lie, and I'm not gonna like turn a blind eye, you know, like that's just the way I am. So yeah, okay, this video is probably actually going to end real quick, but let's go back. But yeah, if anyone else, if you have any questions about the situation, comment down below. But this video is the last time I talk about that situation, because it's over. It's been over for 6 months. I literally, like I said, only brought it up because the situation made sense. It made sense in the situation when I was asked the question on the copium clinic. I wanted to give a real answer and not just a corporate answer. So yeah, that was that. But it's over. It's over. Man, Steven is a good dude. He's a good guy. Um, you know, I don't know him personally, but he seems like a good person. But just let them cook. Let them cook. But other than that, uh, the stream was pretty good. The stream was actually very very good. Let's talk about how the monthly live stream was. I feel like this is their best monthly live stream since they've started Alpha 2. I think so, because it actually gave us insight into where the game is going, and it gave us insight to stuff that we can't already access on our own. I felt like that's all people have asked for, in my opinion, when pertaining to the live streams. Show us shit that's in development, that we can't already see is in the game, because that's what's gonna get people hype and make people feel like there's a reason to stick around. And also tell us how development and shit is going. Tell us how fucking server meshing is going. Tell us how the summoner is going. Tell us how freaking skill trees are going. Tell us how this freaking economic update is going. Show us, to let devs speak on how everything's going. Let them speak on the work that they have been working on. And that's my biggest thing, and I feel like that's everyone's biggest thing, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, I try to be as like general in the sense of like a general consensus. Some people may feel a little different. If there's something else that you feel like they can add or make better for the live stream, obviously comment down below. Like I said, who knows, maybe a dev watches this. I don't know, this channel got like 30 subscribers right now, who knows. But but yeah, I feel like this was a step in the right direction. I was a real big fan of how they talked about the direction of the summoner, so that people could maybe say how they felt about it, even though we couldn't see like any gameplay. But it was good to see what their thought process was, where the summoner would fit in within the 8 or the 7 other archetypes. I was a big fan of that. We got to hear about what are the different ways that you can like interface with the summoner. How the summoner, like I said, would slot in. Could it slot in for a tank, DPS, healer, however, where they took their inspiration from. That was great. And the best part for me, in my opinion, was them saying how in phase 3 they plan to update. Maybe at the beginning they didn't really give like a timeline, which I'm happy, because the timelines don't even matter at this point. But at some point in phase 3 they said they plan to update all of the archetype skill trees to make it more robust and make it more granular, which I was a fan of. As you guys know, we have, if you see on the screen, you probably can't because I don't think I zoomed far out enough, but for your level bar, there's four notches. So you get, for each notch, you're gonna get 1 skill point. And in this new skill, or what's called the skill tree, skills are gonna cost, I think if I'm not mistaken, 4 skill points, or 4 or 3 skill points, and the passives for those skills are gonna cost 2 skill points. You're gonna have a lot more skill points now though, because you're gonna get 1, 2, 3, 4. You're gonna get 4 skill points per level now. So by the time you're 25, you're gonna have 100 skill points. So that's gonna be great. Who knows? Maybe you get skill points also from quests. That'd be cool if you got skill points from quests or something like that. I would love that if that's something that you can go down. Like if you go down a specific quest line, I hope they hear that. If there's a way for you to do that, especially if they're adding more skills to your skill bar through quests like maybe blood magic and shit. But yeah, I was a fan. This gave us a lot of insight into what they expect going forward. They also told us about the Enveus more. They told us about how that's gonna be the next big thing. Obviously, or the big thing in what's called not in July, but the next big thing for phase 3. How we're gonna be able to test out the summoner in July for PTR people if you're in the PTR, and also just they gave us, oh, and also, I mean, you guys don't probably care about this, but I'm gonna mention this. They also finally said that sometime around phase 3, the content creator program will be up and running, because they got like the final approvals from Steven or some shit like that. Who knows? Maybe we get in. Probably not after this incident, but who knows? Who knows? Just let it be known that I did apply. So if I don't get in, it's probably because I don't know. I don't know the reason. I'm not gonna toot my own horn. I'm just gonna say, just let it be known I did apply. But other than that, I mean, let me know if you enjoyed this. I know this one was a little longer than 30 minutes. Like I said, comment down below if you guys would like longer ones. This was 35 minutes. Like I said, I try my best to stay away from drama. Like I said, if you guys look at all these freaking podcasts, all we do is talk about how the game could get better, what we enjoyed, what we didn't enjoy, just giving feedback to the devs on how they can make the game better, or what systems just feel empty and don't feel like they're really useful. And I do the same thing on my main channel. If you guys aren't part of my main channel, I do have a main channel where I put out weekly, every Friday I put out an episode where I play the game, and like I call it a vlog style, a let's play, I guess you would call it, MMO let's play. I don't know, but we play the game. You know, it's funny. We give cool, funny commentary, and it's just a vibe. Maybe you'll be featured in it if you see me in the game. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't want no drama. I don't want no smoke. I definitely don't want no smoke from Intrepid. If Intrepid watches this, I don't want any smoke. I just want to let you guys know that. Keep being great. Keep being great. I'm not trying to start no drama. But like I said, I am gonna speak my piece and just talk about situations that have happened to me in what regard. Like, just if you guys need to validate them, you know. But I'm sorry if I pissed anyone off, because that was not my intention. But if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you guys like the video. This is episode 7 of the TalonCast. If you enjoyed this, make sure you guys like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all that jazz. And also, don't forget to join the Twitch. Every Saturday and Sunday at 6 p.m. I do stream on Twitch, and I do play Ashley Creation. 6 p.m. Pacific, by the way. Twitch.tv/Falcors Gaming. That is linked down below. Come by, say hi, vibe out, maybe come play the game with me. Maybe you'll be featured in one of these. But yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, hope you guys enjoyed. Also, check out the main channel. Other than that, thank you for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.